Now we will add the floor. When pouring a foundation floor, first gravel is put in all the way up to the top of the footings. This will support the concrete. Wire mesh is put on top of the gravel and then lifted up as the concrete is poured. This helps further reinforce the concrete. And then the concrete is poured and finished. Insert in the foundation folder gravel. This doesn't look too much like gravel, but it's going to be hidden anyway. Let's hit mate and start putting some relations on this. First, I want the bottom of this gravel to be on the ground. So I'm going to right click right here in the middle, choose select other, and hover until I see the bottom light up. And we'll put a relation between that and the ground. Hit check mark. Next, let's go side of the gravel to side of the footing. Check mark that, and then the last thing I need to do, I'm going to grab this and move it. You can see it'll only move in one direction because there's only one direction left for it to move. I think I'll move it just like this so I can see a little gap here. I'll right click right here and choose select other, and I want this side, there we go, to be flush with that side of the footing. So our gravel's dumped in. Now we're ready to pour the cement floor. So I'll exit the make command and insert foundation slab. And we'll go ahead and put mates on this, very similar to how we did the gravel. I want the bottom of that to be touching the gravel. The side, make sure I get the side there to the side of the footing. Let's check mark that, and then I'm going to back it up a little bit so that I can have something to work with here. Okay, let's right click here and choose select other. I want this side of the foundation slab to touch that wall right there. And now our floor's in. We can assume that there's wire mesh in there that's reinforcing it. I'll press F on my keyboard to center this. We added anchor bolts in these foundation walls, and we're also going to add some rebar here. There's not going to be a wall attached out here. It's going to be a porch, a cement porch that we'll add towards the end of this project. But while the foundation walls are being poured, it would be good practice to add some rebar here while we add the anchor bolts. So I'm backtracking a little bit here, but go ahead and we'll exit that mate command and insert porch rebar bent house side. We'll put this exterior stuff out here. So let's go with the house side first. Place that in. And to put relations on this, let's go, I'm going to mate the bottom of this to the top of this footing, and then we're going to sink it down in later. So make that your first mate. If we sink it down in now, it's going to be hard to get the center axis, which is what I need to do next. So zoom in here, can be this first piece of rebar, and get that center axis selected. And I'll select the side here, and we're going to set the distance, the offset distance to 12 inches. And then we're going to get that center line again. We're going to put a relation here to the front. We're going to move it back quite a ways. It's going to be more to this side. So enter a distance of 6. Press the enter key, make sure it moves the right way. Yes, we'll have anchor bolts on this side, which is where we'll attach the wall. And then we'll have some room here in our foundation wall to put the rebar. Go ahead and hit the check mark on that. And then to drop the rebar down in, we need to exit out of the mate command and open up our mates right here. And go down to the end of the list. This is the last mate we put in. So if we go back 1-2 steps, this is going to be the mate we need to adjust to sink that rebar down farther. If you right click on that, you have an edit button here with a pencil, and then your distance button becomes available. Go ahead and drop that down 6 inches. Press the enter key, make sure it goes the right way. Mine didn't, so I'm going to hit flip. There we go. Then hit the check mark. When this rebar is put in and then the foundation wall dries, it can be bent down like this later. Let's go ahead and finish the mate command. Insert Porch rebar exterior side. Let's start our mate command here, and we're going to select the bottom of this piece of rebar again. So I'll right click and choose select other. Make that orange and blue, and we're going to go ahead and mate it there to the top of the footing. Mine's still floating out in space, but that's okay. And then let's get the center line on our next relation here. Took a couple seconds for that to appear, but it finally did. I want the center line aligned here, and then distance, let's go 12 inches. Press the enter key. That looks right. And then center line, and let's go from the front here, and let's do a distance from the front of 3 inches. I don't need to exit out of this. I can just find my mate right here in the list before I go back and edit it. So just do that. That coincident mate should be your first mate, and then hit your distance and set it to 8 inches. Press enter, and I'm going to flip that so it goes down. And now we can hit the check mark and hit the check mark once again. When it comes time to prepare to pour the porch, more rebar will be added here and tied all together to help make that porch really strong.